about this time last year, I started making videos, and I didn't know that they would have an impact, just on friends and family, the way that they actually did. I also didn't know that I would get the reaction from some people who I was close to, and the things that they would say or believe about me specifically because of what I believe, especially being a Christian and being a pastor, being a dude, who's worked in construction, stuff like that. I just didn't know people would react the way that they did and stuff. So it was actually kind of a blessing, really, to see what happened. Well, anyway, so that right now I'm sharing on Facebook my videos from a year ago, and I'm actually doing it on purpose. I'm seeing which ones I can and which ones I cannot share. And it's looking like the ones I cannot share are the viral videos last year that showed BLM, Antifa, and the destruction that they actually were, just blowing through cities and stuff, and how they were, killing people. I mean, they were freaking killing people. It really didn't matter what ethnicity you were; they were just killing people. And then how it was kind of portrayed in the media. And so, I was talking about it. Well, there were certain viral videos. There's one on Instagram where this one black guy, he was talking to this young black kid, and he was like, "You got to find a better way. We got to find a better way." And my whole point when I shared the video was, he was like, "Well, we got to find the answer to all this racial stuff and the issues with, young black people." And basically was saying like he actually is displaying what the better way is. It's the interpersonal connection between black males to young black males, and actually really it's just people to youth, and really having a connection, because the screens, social media, video games, these things actually were meant to separate people, and are used to drive wedges into people to keep them from having social interaction. That's actually what this stuff was for. If you ever read about or understand who Steve Jobs was, then you get what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, so the point I'm trying to make on this video is this. When I'm trying to share this stuff from last year, there's certain videos I'm not able to share. And the reason being is it shows the truth of what was really going on versus the lie and the narrative that was trying to be spread. The lie and the narrative was that BLM and Antifa were actually groups that were trying to, use peaceful protest and social unrest to bring about racial reconciliation, which was a lie. We know that now. In fact, there's people that are coming out right now like that were supposedly, a part of Breonna Taylor's family, yada yada, and some other families, these other black people that are like, BLM was not there for black lives. They actually weren't, and they actually were there just to cash in. Well, people like myself and other people were saying that back then. We were saying that over a year ago. And social media back then, people they hadn't caught up to me yet at that time. It was only when I made this other video about BLM that I actually got throttled. Well, my videos from back then, they were getting highest amounts of views because people were finding my voice and other people's voices. They were connecting to it because we were telling the truth, because folks were realizing that they were being fed a lie. And the truth was that there was just rampant destruction running through cities for no other reason other than just bringing chaos. And that was the truth. Well, what social media is doing right now is it is trying to even now go back, and some of you have been in Facebook jail because of your videos from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because of censorship in Facebook and these other social media companies is going back and trying to censor, trying to erase, and trying to use your voice against you and against your social networks and your own sphere of influence. People like myself were talking about this stuff for a year ago, and we're trying to make a point that something was happening. Something that was a lie was happening. But the mainstream media, the CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, they were lying to us. And they were trying to say, no, you need to be on board with these other stories, these other issues. You need to be aligning yourself with black voices and this and that. Well, now that you know, now that I see what was happening, I can say pretty definitively, I was telling the truth. And so were so many others. And there were other people who were supposedly my friends who were not telling the truth. And they were lying to your face, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And they don't come back and they don't apologize. They don't come back and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't have said that. Because that's just not in it. But let me get back to the point. The point is, when you have people that'll tell you, well, it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. That's not the way that this works. They have protections of the government as publishers, and they're not as publishers. And they don't use their platforms to publish information. But what we found out was that they were publishing information, they were censoring information, and they were trying to silence information. So now that we know that, we can go back and look and say, okay. And I actually want to recommend you do this. Go back on your memories, just type in the search in Facebook, go back in memories and see what you actually wrote out and what you were talking about last year this time. Because this week was a week of riots, it was a week of crazy unrest. People were getting killed and stuff in the street. There were pallets of rocks showing up in front of big municipalities, and then there were weird things happening in neighborhoods. It just didn't make any sense. Now that you know that that's what's happening, that black people were used again as pawns, understand that this is what it's coming to, and this is what it goes down to. If you're only willing to listen to one side because it aligns with your political view, then you're not going to see the other side. People like myself are trying to tell you that there was a whole other side to this thing, that there was a lot more going on, and now I can go back on my own timeline and I can watch it. It wasn't at this period of time. My videos and stuff were getting viewed all the time. They were getting viewed by a lot of people. They were being shared by a lot of people. Then all of a sudden, they weren't, because social media found me to be a threat. And I'm not even like a big voice, okay? But they found a lot of other people, conservatives, especially black people who were conservative and Republicans. They those voices, man, they were shut out real fast. And so when you think about this, think about the other people that have something else to say, the other people that have something else to show you, to give you to give voice to things that you see in your neighborhoods. And I'm trying to tell you what's really going on, because there's folks out there that don't want you to hear that. They don't want you to even to have that voice, and they're doing all they can right now to silence that voice, to make it so that you don't have an ability to speak out. And so that's what I'm telling you right now. If you guys aren't prepared for social media to actually shut you down now, you're not paying attention. If you don't know what happened to the walk away movement, they shut the whole movement down. If you don't know what happened to some of these informed parents of California, they shut these movements down. And the reason being is it's when people know that they are not by themselves, they feel more empowered to speak out. And right now, this is about the time where people were finding out about what vaccines and what was happening with hydroxychloroquine, with remdesivir, I think that's the name of it, with taking zinc and the like, and vitamin D, and how stuff was actually just playing out in the world. Know this, understand it, and don't try to gloss over it. Take it for what it really is and what truly was happening. We were getting played last year, and we're still being played right now. Now we're being played about COVID. Now we're being played about the vaccine. There's so much coming out about that vaccine right now that really it's actually quite unnerving, man. So just being real with you. Look, think through it, see what it is, and share your thoughts about it. It's okay to have thoughts that go against the mainstream. It's not okay to silence those things. It's not okay to go against the First Amendment because it doesn't fit your own personal narrative.